Think about this for a second. 2.5 million blocks of stone, some heavier than an elephant, stacked almost 500 feet high. For 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has been standing there, this absolute giant from a lost world. And for centuries, we've all been stuck on one question. How did they do it? How did a civilization without cranes and computers pull off one of the greatest engineering feats in history? But what if that's the wrong question? What if the real mystery isn't how they built it, but why? We're told it's a tomb, just a massive headstone for a king, but the evidence tells a totally different story. A story of secret rooms, bizarre energy, and a purpose so big it could change everything we think we know about the ancients. So forget what you learned in history class. The real question isn't how they built it, but what on earth for? You've seen the Great Pyramid everywhere, right? Postcards, movies, you name it. And we all just kind of accept the story. It's the tomb of Pharaoh Khufu. Simple. But the closer you look, the more that simple story just falls apart. From its mind-boggling mathematical precision to the weird anomalies being found deep inside its walls, the pyramid is practically begging us to question what we've been told. For years, a bunch of engineers, physicists, and even some renegade archaeologists have been pointing out that this thing looks less like a tomb and more like something else. We're not going to spend our time debating how they dragged the blocks. We're going way deeper into the real mystery. What was its purpose? We'll explore some wild theories about lost tech and secret functions that modern science is only now starting to uncover. What if the pyramid wasn't just a tomb for the dead, but some kind of machine for the living? The known world, a tomb for a king? The official story starts around 2560 BC with a pharaoh named Khufu. The textbook version says he ordered this mountain of stone to be built as his forever home. And at first glance, the evidence seems to line up. The pyramid has 3 main rooms: the subterranean chamber, way down in the bedrock, the so-called Queen's Chamber, and the King's Chamber, right near the pyramid's heart. Inside the King's Chamber, there's a big granite box, a sarcophagus. This, supposedly, was for Khufu's body, so his soul could shoot up to the stars and hang with the gods. The whole area around Giza is basically one giant graveyard, a necropolis, with smaller pyramids and tombs for Khufu's family and his top officials. Even the pyramid's design seems to be all about the afterlife. Its sides are almost perfectly lined up with north, south, east, and west, and little shafts point out from the chambers towards star constellations that were a huge deal to the Egyptians, like Orion and Sirius. The whole thing was meant to be a resurrection machine, built to launch the pharaoh's spirit into the cosmos. It's a great story. For over 100 years, it was the only story, but it's a story that's full of holes. The inciting incident, the cracks in the story, the first big crack in the official story, that granite sarcophagus. When the king's chamber was finally opened, the box that was supposed to hold Khufu was totally empty. And not just empty, there was no sign it had ever been sealed. The go-to explanation is always grave robbers, but they would have had to get through a maze of passages and past huge granite plugs meant to stop them. What's even weirder is how plain it is inside. Other royal tombs are dripping with hieroglyphs and paintings telling stories of the gods. The Great Pyramids inside is completely bare. Not one single official carving says, "Khufu built this," or "This is Khufu's tomb." This big, silent emptiness makes you wonder, if this wasn't where Khufu was buried, where is he? And if they didn't build this for his body, what was it for? The answer might have been hiding right over our heads the whole time, waiting for technology that could finally see through stone. Rising action. Theory 1. The City of Hidden Chambers. For thousands of years, the pyramid kept its secrets. Then, in 2015, a project called Scan Pyramids started using some seriously high-tech gear to peek inside without touching a single block. They used a technique called muon tomography, which uses particles from space to see through solid objects, and they found something incredible. In 2017, they announced a massive hidden void right above the Grand Gallery, a long hallway leading to the King's Chamber. They called it the Scan Pyramids Big Void. This thing is huge, at least 98 feet long, and it was the first major new room found in the pyramid in over a century. No one knows what it's for. Some think it's Khufu's real burial chamber, perfectly hidden from robbers. Others think it was just for structural support, to take pressure off the gallery below. And they kept finding more. The same project confirmed another hidden corridor, about 30 feet long, behind the pyramid's north face. Then, as recently as 2024, scientists using ground-penetrating radar found a strange L-shaped anomaly buried in the cemetery next to the pyramid, which they think might be an entrance to an even deeper, undiscovered part of the complex. This proves one thing for sure. The pyramid we see isn't the whole story. It's a house of secrets, and we're just now finding the doors. Rising action. Theory 2. A celestial map. Putting aside the hidden rooms, the pyramid's design alone hints at something bigger, something that connects the ground to the stars. Its astronomical alignments are almost perfect. The four sides point to the cardinal directions with an accuracy that would be tough to match today, even with lasers. But the most famous idea is the Orion correlation theory. This theory suggests that the layout of the three Giza pyramids, Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaure, was deliberately designed to mirror the three stars in Orion's belt. Mainstream Egyptologists argue about how perfect the match is, but you can't deny it looks similar. It suggests the builders were creating a map of the heavens on Earth, connecting their kings to the god Osiris, who is represented by the Orion constellation. This cosmic link is backed up by those mysterious star shafts leading out of the king's and queen's chambers. At first, people thought they were for air, but now many believe they were precisely aimed at key stars. A shaft from the king's chamber points to Orion, while one from the queen's chamber targets Sirius, the star of the goddess Isis. These weren't air vents. They were escape hatches for the soul, highways for the pharaoh to rise up and join the gods. The pyramid wasn't just a tomb sitting on the dirt. It was a launch pad to the stars. The climax, the most compelling theory, the Giza power plant. This leads us to the wildest theory of them all, one that completely ignores tombs and gods. What if the Great Pyramid was never meant for a body at all? What if it was a machine? This is the Giza power plant theory. And while it's definitely on the fringe, the evidence its supporters point to is fascinating. It starts with the materials. The inner chambers are built with granite, which is full of quartz crystals. Quartz has a cool property called piezoelectricity, meaning it creates an electric field when you squeeze it. And what's squeezing it? The incredible weight of the pyramid itself. Proponents, like engineer Christopher Dunn, argue that the pyramid's exact dimensions were designed to capture and amplify the natural vibrations of the Earth. In this model, the pyramid would have turned these vibrations into a form of wireless energy. Even Nikola Tesla thought the pyramids might have been ancient energy transmitters. This theory tries to explain everything differently. The chambers aren't for burials, they're power cores. The shafts aren't for souls, they're waveguides for energy. And the whole pyramid isn't a monument. It's a functional piece of technology, left behind by a civilization that might have understood physics better than we do. We started by asking if the Great Pyramid was just a tomb. We've looked at hidden chambers found with cosmic rays, star maps written in stone, and even the radical idea of an ancient power plant. The only thing that seems certain is that the more we find, the less we actually know. The simple story of a pharaoh's tomb just doesn't feel big enough to fit the evidence anymore. The discovery of the Big Void proves there are huge parts of the pyramid we haven't even seen. Its mathematical genius still stumps experts. The mystery isn't solved. It's getting deeper and weirder with every new scan. The Great Pyramid isn't just some dusty old monument. It's an active puzzle. It's challenging us, taunting us, and guarding its secrets. Maybe the final truth is still locked inside, waiting for us to finally start asking the right questions. So what do you think the Great Pyramid really is? An epic tomb, a map of the stars, a lost power plant, or something no one has even thought of yet? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you want to keep digging into the world's greatest unsolved mysteries, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation.